Hi, I'm Alan Ross. I'm the managing editor of APC Media and APC Technologies. We are at the Seagray 2023 Grid of the Future Symposium. And these interviews are with the leaders at Seagray and the leaders of the industry. Hope you enjoy. My next guest is Damir Novosel. He is the president of Quanta Technologies, which is a division of Quanta Services.
Yeah.
Right?
Great to be here.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about Quanta a little bit more later, but tell me how you got involved in the industry. How did you get involved in, because you got a PhD in
electrical power industry.
You're the only person I know that has in that space.
You know what's interesting, by the way? My PhD is artificial neural networks. Okay. And that's what's now called machine learning. Okay. But I must say it was 1991 when I got it. So it was a little bit ahead of its time.
Right.
Especially for the power industry.
Can we call it AI? I mean, because that's the sexy thing now.
Yeah, that's AI. That's actually what's AI now.
Right. Okay, that's fascinating.
But they were just initial attempts to see how AI can really help power systems.
Okay, all right.
And, there are, of course, applications, but as we know, it's always good to be careful where you put priorities. And not to expect sometimes too much.
Right.
Out of just because technologies sounds very interesting, that you immediately jump on it without actually making sure that it has the proper use.
Yes, and then you fix the problem later, and it costs millions to make and billions to break and millions. Yeah. Right. Anyway, I want to. Before Quanta, you were with ABB.
I was actually with Kima.
Okay.
Before Quanta.
Yeah.
For 3 years.
All right.
And then before that, with ABB for 11 years.
Tell me a little bit about Quanta Technologies, because I hear the name. I know many people from Quanta, but it's kind of like you guys are secret. Nobody really knows what you do. Yeah,
I'm not happy now. But I'm surprised because actually, first we have a really good marketing team. Secondly, we are very active in the industry.
Okay.
Like at this particular conference, I think we have at least 15 people at the conference.
Okay.
And they are very active. They are presenting papers,
exactly,
panels, and so on. So I would expect that Quanta technology would be recognized. And, I must say I'm very proud of that. I usually talk to people and they tell me, oh, you guys are hiring some of the best people in the industry.
Yeah.
And yes, this industry and what we do is really about people.
Right.
So if you work with good people or the people that really can make a difference, then things happen.
Right. Well, within IEEE and within Seagray and within IEC, Quanta is very recognized. So you're very recognized there. But anyway, we're going to talk a little bit at the end more about your.
I do want to emphasize, like Quanta Services is well recognized.
Yes.
And we also want to, when we talk about Quanta technology, it's part of Quanta Services.
Yeah. Because
that's the whole offering. And I can just briefly, if you don't mind, say we actually try to have that holistic approach. And, as industry is changing, there are lots of things that need to be done. It's good to start with planning, but it's good to be able actually to deliver and implement what you plan.
Right.
So that's what Quanta Services offering is, planning, engineering, procurement, and construction, tie it all together.
Right.
And that's why, I think we are recognized as part of Quanta, not just individual Quanta technology that's doing something that is not connected to the rest of Quanta.
Right. You're in an industry that's going through tremendous change, probably more change than I've seen in my life.
Right.
But with all of those changes, some of them are bigger than others. I could say, what are all the changes? And we'd spend 2 hours talking about them.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the one that you think is on top of mind for you? Talk about what it is and how we're addressing it.
Yeah, and again, I must tell you, to me, there's lots of need for grid flexibility now with all the decarbonization renewables. And just look at one thing at a time, I don't think is the right approach.
Right.
That's why when you ask me what's one thing, I don't think it's the right approach to actually look at one thing.
Okay.
We need to look into all these different pieces to be able to get to the proper conclusion. And so my one thing is, let's do things in a holistic perspective.
Your one thing is all things.
But not all. Again, priorities are very important. I do want to emphasize.
All right.
We sometimes make mistakes because we put priorities at the wrong place.
All right.
and then things happen in the wrong way. So we need to look things in a holistic way, but not at everything.
Right.
But then see how different things connect together. And I can talk much more about it, but I'll let you ask the question.
No, because the much more about it is you said the word that I love. I've only heard it maybe 2 times in the last 6 months.
Right.
And I think it is the key. Grid flexibility.
Right.
Talk more about that. What does a flexible grid look like?
Yeah, the issue is that we deal with lots of uncertainty.
Right.
So with renewable generation, it's a great technology. Electrical power industry is the one that is making a difference for the world. And I think that's sometimes not understood that well.
Right, exactly.
Because, how can you decarbonize? What are the 3 ways to decarbonize? One is renewable generation. Second one is electrification. Yeah. And I'm talking just about transportation. It's homes.
Yeah. It's
C&I, and so on. And then it's, of course, consumer with demand response.
Right.
Okay. So that's where the action is.
Right.
But of course, it creates some of the uncertainties. And then you have weather-related issues these days. Again, that ties really to this. So grid flexibility really means that you need to address these uncertainties in a way to optimize how you make system more resilient, make system more reliable. And when I say system, I'm not talking just about the grid.
Right.
I'm talking about, the whole electrical power system that includes consumer. Right. And behind the meter PVs and so on. So this is really what grid flexibility is all about. And understanding that grids and renewables complement each other. They don't compete.
Right.
There is one of the misconceptions in the society, and even with the regulators. They talk about non-viral alternatives. Okay? And that's great. But there is a value of the grid, there is a value of renewables.
Right.
And you need to tie it together to get the optimal solution with grid flexibility that includes also pricing or the rates.
Yeah.
We cannot just rush with investing in things that are not high priority sometimes and then expect the rates will not go up.
Right.
So we need to find that balance, and that's what really results in the overall grid flexibility.
Yeah, there's a misconception in the public in general that by having, taking all generation to renewables, that there's no cost to that. The cost is actually greater as a result of that because of the fact that the wind doesn't always blow and the sun doesn't always shine. We're working on new storage things. I was at we did this at the Renewable Energy RE Fuss Conference.
Yeah.
3 years ago, 2 years ago, it was, I think there were 8,500 people. Last year, 40,000 people. This year,
I know.
I mean,
the last year it was 25. I said, how could it be?
Yeah.
And then this year, 40,000.
40,000 people.
Right.
And I think it was because there were that many people everywhere, like ants doing it. You had a big presence there.
Right.
And just talk about what Quanta does as it relates to renewables specifically.
Yeah, and again, what Quanta does, and that's what we're very proud of, is solving the problem overall. So you can do planning and benefit cost analysis, grid modernization, how to optimize the grid and so on. But then you can actually do engineering and you can do construction. So Quanta Services does it all.
Okay.
You can work on the grid, but you can also install storage and PVs and tie it all together. And then in addition, and I'm very proud of that fact that Quanta Technology has developed lots of innovative solutions to address, achieve grid flexibility.
Okay.
For example, we just formed a new company called Universal Mobile Solutions.
Okay.
And it's the spin-off of Quanta Technology.
Okay.
So what happened was that we started developing storage on a truck.
Okay.
And it's really mobile, meaning that you can actually, if you have an event, either is the power system power shutdown or there is some event that needs storage, like you have an event that you need charging stations.
Yeah.
and you don't have power supply. You need storage, you tie charging stations with power supply and so on. So you put it on a truck, and you ship it there, and you just plug it in, and it works. Okay.
Put a substation on it, or a transformer on a truck,
or a modular substation, right. But again, I'm talking about that particular technology of mobile storage, and we decided that we really need to focus as a separate company, and we form a new company. That's the innovation, and that's what I'm very proud of.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. But what's the storage technology? Is it a flow battery? Or are you using vanadium? Or are you using?
Again, in general, still now, because of the automotive industry, what lithium-ion and all is dominating and so on. But there is lots of work now on other storage solutions.
Right.
And again, what happened now recently, we just got awarded Sandia National Lab and other partners. We got awarded a long-term storage evaluation project where we're looking into the technologies for long-term storage.
Right.
And the DOE, that's a DOE project. And our experts from Quanta Technology, again, working very closely with experts from Sandia National Lab and the others. Because, again, it's always about working with more people and try to see how long-term storage will help the industry move forward. Because in some cases, 4 hours of storage is just not enough.
Yeah. We work with Pacific Northwest National Lab, who's working with Sandia to work on storage. And we just did an interview with them about some of the storage solutions that they're working on. So it all comes together. I want to go back to what you said earlier, but now you just said again, innovation starts with people. Quanta it recruits, because I know a lot of your people, and you recruit rock stars.
Right.
Talk about the next generation of rock stars in engineering and innovation, because you need people that can not just think like engineers, they have to be innovative, which is not necessarily a normal engineering trait.
Yeah. So I do want to emphasize one thing that's very important. It's part of the company culture. Innovation is great. And I'll talk more about innovation. Let's park it for now.
Okay.
But also want to talk about people that are doing a day-to-day job very steadily, with high quality and delivering.
Steady Eddies.
These people are also extremely important to move the industry forward. So you don't necessarily just have to all the time come with some new ideas.
Yeah, right.
We need, of course, people. So I can brag, I have 18 patents. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Yeah.
My ego is getting best out of me.
I was going to bring that up.
No, you see. No, but seriously, I think it's so important to have people that are doing steady job and recognize the value they bring. Yeah. But at the same time, again, it's so great to have also the innovation. And that's why I mentioned that particular example. But we developed in the meantime lots of software solutions that help with automation, because again, with uncertainties, things are happening faster. You don't want engineers to do manual work.
Right.
You want to automate as much as possible.
Right.
And then developing the tools to automate the processes and so on will give engineers more time to focus on really solving the real problems versus doing manual entries and so on. And then to your point, and I think you made something really important here. You have these rock stars or whatever. They can be reggae stars, they can be jazz stars. Okay, anyway. But then when you hire younger people, that's what really makes the industry, and I would say my company, successful. Because you have hired these lots of younger people, and you get all this diversity in every dimension.
Right.
And then they work with these rock stars, and they transfer the knowledge, and then they become rock stars. So the idea was every person that joins Quanta Technology to become a rock star. And again, rock star can be steady Eddie for me. Just to clarify. So, and I want to tell you what's really important to me. I coined the term, and I always tell people, don't laugh too hard when you hear.
Okay.
Teamwork is wanting and helping your colleagues to succeed.
Okay, no, I didn't.
So your teamwork is not just working on a team.
Right.
Is that you really want your colleagues that is working with you, either on the web or in the office, to be more successful. Yeah. And if your colleague does the same, then you really move forward as the company and as the industry overall.
I left my engineering role at many years ago, and I became a partner in a consulting firm called Team Resources.
Okay.
And one of the things that we did was exactly what you said, but we also initiated programs that taught collaboration, because most people don't understand what collaboration looks like, how it works. Collaboration is achieving a common goal by making everybody else better.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's the same thing as you
described. Yeah. And I try to have that term and then embed in the thinking of people at Quanta Technology, because that will make them more successful.
No, you're right.
That's how they're going to come here to SIGRE and present and show they're doing great and so on. And you know, it's knowledge sharing. You know, that's why also SIGRE is a great event.
Yeah.
Because you have shared best practices with your colleagues. Doesn't matter, even your competitors. I think the world is big enough for all of us, and by working together, we can actually make the difference in the industry.
Well, you've hit a point. I'm going to go there now.
Okay.
There's going to be, at the end, the value of SIGRE.
Okay.
Okay, so talking about the value of SIGRE. SIGRE is a global organization, but we're at the SIGRE U.S. National Committee event here in we're in Kansas City, right?
Kansas City.
Talk about the value of SIGRE to you, to Quanta.
Yeah. So I'll start when I was a very early age.
You're John McDonald in the 6th grade, right?
No. I'm going to actually start with in the beginning of '80s.
Okay.
You know, I was just graduating and all, and I got involved in SIGRE at that time in my former country.
Yeah.
It was Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
At that time, it doesn't exist anymore. But I was at that time involved in SIGRE. And I would go to SIGRE conferences, local ones, you know. And that was such a great value to me. Again, to me, it's some of the industry experts. You at all some of the people that you meet. You know, I read their papers.
Yeah.
Now I can talk to them, and you say, "May I introduce myself?" And everybody was very helpful, and that's how you build relationships, but also learn. And then, of course, later on, I was very passionate about organizations like SIGRE, and you know, we talked about some of the issues and grid flexibility and so on. All these issues are global.
Yeah, exactly.
You must share best practices. You need to do it globally. Vendors are global. Decarbonization is global.
Yeah.
You know, I always laugh at. I need to say the story, like when the Germans closed all the nuclear plants in Germany.
Yeah.
And there are still nuclear plants in France. And you say there is a border, so if something happens in France, fortunately, the border will prevent radiation to move to Germany. You know?
That's a terrible story, but a true story.
It's a terrible story. I mean, again, hopefully it's nothing going to happen, because French are doing a great job in making sure it's safe and secure. So I don't worry about nuclear, just to let you know. I was just trying to make my point that, you know, if you want to make some of those decisions, don't make them like that. You know, it doesn't help Germany. You know, price of electricity in Germany is now, what, 60 cents per kilowatt hour, or even it gets to 100. You know? And, you know, why? Is it really necessary? Is the Germany safer because of this? Not really.
No.
But again, people pay the price. So are we prioritizing things the right way? And again, I'm not here to discuss political implications and other stuff. But it is, as an engineer, sounds to me that somebody's missed the right approach.
You know, it's interesting, because my theory is the problem doesn't stop at the border, but the solution can't. And sometimes we try to prioritize solutions like proprietary. I own
yeah, exactly.
We won't solve the world's problems by one company or one country or one person saying, no, I own that technology. And that's that sharing of technology, sharing of information that works. But working with the national labs, working with DOE, that's what really matters about.
Exactly. And, you know, again, even in Europe, you know, I think Germany has done lots of great things to move the technology forward, like the wind and so on. It's amazing. You know. So again, we should leverage those great things, but do it in a, again, holistic perspective, working together. And you see that with electrification now. You know, there is still lack of planning in a way that helps electrify transportation, for example, in the right way.
Right, right.
Because you need fleets to have their plans and provide their plans ahead of time to the utilities, that they can work with the regulators and the technology providers and so on, related to where to put charging stations, how big the charging station should be, and how the impact on the grid is going to be, and how to manage that.
Yeah.
So it's all manageable. It's not, I must say, as they say, it's not a rocket science.
Yeah.
But you need people to sit at a table and say, let's plan. And then things will fall into place, and we'll be electrified more, we'll save money,
Yeah.
and we'll have grid more flexible.
Yeah. Let's collaborate.
That's the
If you know what the next person is doing that it impacts you,
Right.
know it before it impacts you,
Right.
so that you can be prepared for it.
And I have the example also, like when you have, very often is the issue sometimes with developers and utilities
Yeah.
conflicting. And again, there's no reason for it.
Right.
Because we don't want IBRs to trip on a fault in a transmission system. That happened a couple of times or more.
Yeah.
You know, so let's work together and make it more, make it better. But again, it's all about sometimes making money in the short term,
Yeah.
or trying to do things that will actually help society, the industry in the long term.
Make it flexible.
Make it flexible.
Damir, excellent interview. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Appreciate it.